Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. Psalms 23 verse 4. Chosen one, do you feel the silence? That silence that seems to envelop your soul? That takes you away from the world and brings you closer to infinity? At first it feels uncomfortable, like a void. But it's not just emptiness. It's a calling. The isolation you are experiencing is not an accident. It is not a punishment. It is an essential part of your spiritual journey. The universe chose you, and it is in this isolation that true transformation happens. In silence is where you will find the voice of the divine, a voice that has always been there, waiting to be heard. Chosen, comment now, I accept silence as part of my spiritual awakening and commit to embracing this phase with an open heart. Isolation as an essential part of the spiritual process. Have you ever felt like the world around you has started to distance itself from you? That suddenly everything became quieter, as if life around you was slowing down? That close friend you used to talk to every day seems to be further away. Messages that were once exchanged frequently have now become scarce. The meetings and social gatherings that were previously part of your routine begin to disappear. Even everyday noises, those sounds you barely noticed, seem to have diminished. This growing silence may have caused a feeling of discomfort, perhaps even loss. It's natural that you've wondered why this is happening, why the world around you seems to have changed so suddenly. But allow me to tell you a deep and transformative secret, that it's not a coincidence. What you are experiencing is not simple chance, it is not just the natural flow of things. The isolation you are feeling is part of a larger plan, a phase carefully orchestrated by the universe. Often what appears to be distancing is, in fact, a form of rapprochement. Approximation of whom? From yourself. Approaching the divine. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, opens this space around you so that you can connect more deeply with your essence, with your spiritual purpose. Isolation is the portal to deeper revelations, those that can only be heard when the noise of the world falls silent. It is in the void that the greatest spiritual discoveries happen, when the mind is free from distractions and the soul can finally breathe in its fullness. Think of great spiritual masters, sages and prophets who have marked history. All of them, before reaching their moments of enlightenment, went through a period of isolation. Jesus withdrew into the desert, Moses climbed Mount Sinai alone, Buddha meditated under the Bodhi tree. Silence and solitude, they are indispensable companions for those on the path of awakening. These moments are opportunities to clear away the layers of distraction and superficiality that separate us from what really matters. Now, have you ever wondered why you are going through this moment of isolation? Is this distancing really a punishment or a negative circumstance? Think for a moment. If the universe is orchestrating every detail of your life, from the most trivial encounters to the most difficult challenges, wouldn't this period of silence be an opportunity for something greater? An invitation to look inside yourself, to discover answers that previously seemed out of reach? What, at first glance, appears to be a withdrawal from the external world, is, in fact, a preparation for a new phase of inner growth. We often resist isolation because it forces us to confront parts of ourselves that we avoid. However, when you begin to embrace this process, you will see that isolation is not the end as you may have initially thought. It is not a phase of punishment, nor a punishment from the universe. It is the beginning of something much bigger. A fresh start. A deep journey towards self-knowledge, the true essence of your being, direct connection with the divine. Right now, the universe is giving you a gift. It can be a difficult gift to accept at first sight, mainly because we are taught to fear loneliness, to constantly seek company and distraction. But this gift is valuable beyond what you can imagine. It is an invitation to enter a place where few have the courage to go, your own heart. When you embrace silence, when you accept isolation, you begin to hear a new voice, the voice of your soul. She speaks softly from a deep and wise place, where lies all the truth you need to move forward. What you are experiencing now, however challenging it may seem, is the beginning of a journey of transformation, self-discovery and spiritual awakening. And this journey will take you to a new level of understanding, both of yourself and the world around you. The universe is preparing you for something bigger, something that you cannot yet fully see, but that, when it is revealed, will make perfect sense. In isolation, you will discover that you have never been truly alone. The external loneliness, it is just an illusion, a curtain that temporarily separates you from the distractions of the world so that you can see the inner truth that has always been with you. Every moment of silence is an opportunity to reconnect with the divine, to hear the whispers of the universe that previously went unnoticed amid the noise. And now, chosen one, ask yourself, what is the universe trying to teach you through this silence? The answer may not come immediately. It may take time for you to hear the full message. But know that the process has already begun, and every step, every thought that emerges, every emotion that arises during this period of isolation, is leading you in the right direction. Remember, isolation is just the beginning. Once you have gone through this phase of self-discovery, you will be stronger, wiser, more connected to the purpose that the universe has outlined for you. And when that moment comes, you will realize that all the silence, all the distancing, was necessary so that you could be reborn with a new spiritual clarity, personal growth and self-knowledge. Chosen one, during this period of isolation, something powerful begins to happen within you. It's as if a door that had been locked for so long, guarded by layers of distractions, worries and noises from the outside world, suddenly began to open. And when you walk through that door, you enter unknown territory. This territory is your soul. There, in the depths of your being, you will find the answers you seek, and you will realize that true personal growth happens here, in silence. Think for a moment, how many times, caught up in the rush of everyday life, have you lost sight of who you really are? How many times have you felt disconnected from your own essence, as if you were living life on autopilot, just reacting to what happens around you? Now, isolation offers you a rare and precious gift, the time and space to look within. This period of isolation, away from external voices, is a unique opportunity for deep self-reflection. Now it's you and yourself. Right now, the only voice that needs to be heard is yours, the voice of your inner self, the one that has perhaps been drowned out for so long by the demands of the outside world. You begin to observe your own thoughts without rushing, without judgment. You begin to feel more clearly emotions that you would normally try to avoid or suppress. And by allowing yourself to be present with these emotions, with these thoughts, you begin to understand something essential. Everything you feel has a purpose. Every emotion, every thought that arises is a key to your self-knowledge. Now, I ask you, chosen one, what have you discovered about yourself during this period of loneliness? Perhaps at first the answers are not clear. You may feel some discomfort when encountering parts of yourself that you had previously avoided. But it is precisely in this discomfort that transformation begins to occur. This is the perfect time to take your time examining each of your thoughts and behavior patterns. What makes you react a certain way? What causes you those feelings of insecurity or anxiety? Why do certain situations make you frustrated or uncomfortable? Often these automatic reactions are the result of old beliefs, fears that you carry without realizing it, but that shape the way you relate to the world. When you are alone, in silence, these responses begin to emerge naturally. Isolation, far from being a moment of disconnection, is a chance to reconnect with your truth. What seemed confusing before starts to make sense. As you explore these inner layers, you realize that what seemed to frighten or weaken you most actually holds the key to your freedom. Chosen, think about this. When was the last time you stopped to really listen to yourself? What is your soul trying to tell you right now, at this very moment? Close your eyes for a moment and listen. There is no rush. What do you feel? What do you think? What emerges when the outside world falls silent? This is the invitation of isolation, to look inside and recognize what has always been there, but which has perhaps been ignored by external demands. The process of self-knowledge is not always comfortable. In fact, it can often be challenging. Looking inside also means facing what you may have avoided, the fears you tried to hide, the insecurities you preferred to ignore, the pains I didn't want to confront. But as he does so, something extraordinary begins to happen. Do you realize that these parts of you are not enemies but allies? They are showing you what needs to be transformed so that you can grow spiritually. And this growth, chosen one, is exactly what the universe wants for you. There is no growth without self-knowledge. The path of spiritual evolution is built with the bricks of inner truth, with the acceptance of who you really are, without masks, without filters. Sometimes it can feel like isolation has left you lost, that the silence is unbearable. But in reality, it is in discomfort that transformation happens. When you begin to accept this journey of looking within, you realize that discomfort is the precursor to change. And all profound change begins with accepting who you are now, in this moment, without judgment, without expectations of perfection. Chosen, every step you take towards your interior is a step towards your liberation. What stops you from moving forward? What fears still hold you back? This is the time to face them, to understand that what seemed like an obstacle is, in fact, the portal to a new phase of your life. Isolation shows you that you are not your fears, you are not your insecurities. You are much more than that. You are an evolving soul, a soul that is awakening to your true essence, to your true power. This is the time to realize that self-knowledge is your greatest ally on this spiritual journey. What seemed to be a period of solitude now turns out to be a time of renewal. A time when you can reconnect with yourself in ways you never imagined. And when you allow yourself to get in touch with these deeper parts of yourself, you discover something incredible. You always had the answers you were looking for. The universe is not outside of you. It is inside you. Now, I invite you, chosen one. Comment below what you have discovered about yourself during this period of solitude. Share this journey of self-knowledge and inspire others who are also going through this process. Because when you share your truth, you allow others to find theirs. Signs and synchronicities of the universe. Chosen one, now that you are more attentive to silence, have you begun to notice how the universe speaks in ways that previously went unnoticed? You may have noticed something that, at first glance, seemed like a coincidence. A sequence of numbers that keeps appearing in front of you, a phrase that someone mentioned casually but that touched something inside you in an inexplicable way, or even that vivid dream that seems to carry a message. These are not just coincidences. These are the signs of the universe, the synchronicities that show you that, even in the midst of silence, you are being guided. Think for a moment, how many times have you experienced something that, at the time, seemed trivial but later felt like there was something deeper going on? Maybe it was a coincidence that made you stop and think. A repeating number on the clock, such as 11:11 or 22:22. An unexpected meeting that brought a meaningful conversation. A song that came on the radio just when you needed to hear those specific lyrics. These are not mere coincidences, chosen one. They are synchronicities. Whispers from the universe, reminders that you are on the right path, that there is an invisible hand guiding your steps. How many times have you experienced these moments and ignored them, thinking they were just coincidences? Now, with isolation, your attention is more focused. The universe has your undivided attention. In this space of introspection, you are more sensitive, more receptive to signals. It's as if, suddenly, everything around you took on a new meaning, and the pieces that previously seemed disconnected began to fit together, forming a great mosaic. Now I ask you, chosen one, have you ever stopped to notice these signs around you? What synchronicities have appeared in your life recently? Often, we are so immersed in our daily worries, so distracted by the noises of the world, that we end up missing these cosmic whispers. And the universe, with its infinite wisdom, he doesn't scream, he whispers. It places before us little reminders, subtle but powerful clues, that we are being watched, protected, and guided. In this period of isolation, you are being called to awaken this awareness. What you might have previously ignored now becomes a clear map. Every sudden thought, every chance encounter, every symbolic dream carries a deeper meaning. That meeting with an unexpected person who brought a message you needed to hear, that number that keeps appearing, that déjà vu that leaves you with the feeling that you're following a path already set. That's all, it's no coincidence, chosen one. These are the signs, the synchronicities. And they are here to guide you, to remind you that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Have you ever had the feeling that something was in the air, as if a premonition was trying to warn you of something? An inexplicable feeling that things are lining up, even if you don't see all the details clearly? This is the universe acting. Sometimes the path he traces for us may seem hazy, but these signs are the little lights that appear to guide us, like stars on a dark night, pointing us in the right direction. Think about something recent, something that seemed like a coincidence, but you felt there was something deeper. Maybe it was a number that popped up again and again, or maybe it was an unexpected encounter with someone who brought a message that seemed like exactly what you needed to hear at that moment. The universe is always talking to you. He is always sending you signals. These signs are the answers you are looking for. They are a constant reminder that you are on the right path, even if the path seems difficult or confusing. How many times have you felt like an answer came unexpectedly? That a path that seemed closed opened up in a surprising way? These experiences, chosen one, are the synchronicities of the universe. They are the cosmos' way of telling you that you are aligned, that you are where you are supposed to be, and that all you need to do is trust. Trust that these signals are not random. They are here to guide you, to give you reassurance that, even when it seems like you are alone, the universe is leading you. Chosen, imagine a scenario where you are walking through a dense forest. With each step, you see little sparks of light around you, illuminating the way. These sparks are the signs that the universe offers you. It can be a sudden thought, a feeling of déjà vu, a feeling that something bigger is at stake. These sparks are here to light your path. Now think about the last few weeks. What signs have you been receiving? What synchronicities have appeared in your life? Have you been paying attention to them? The universe talks to you all the time, but have you been listening? Are you open to receiving these messages, or are you letting everyday distractions cloud your perception? Chosen, stop for a moment and reflect. Maybe today something happened that you initially dismissed as a coincidence, but that, when you look closer, carries a message. Is there something the universe is trying to tell you right now? Are you listening? These synchronicities, these signals, are like a cosmic GPS. They guide you in the right direction. They show you that the universe is attentive to your every step. You are being guided, and as you become more attentive to these signs, the clearer your journey becomes. The path that the universe has traced for you becomes more evident. Now, chosen one, I invite you, share in the comments below a sign you have recently noticed. What was that synchronicity that you know deep in your heart wasn't just a coincidence? By sharing your experience, you not only confirm for yourself the presence of these signs, but you also help chosen others awaken to the messages the universe is sending them. Chosen one, the universe is guiding you and the signs are everywhere. Are you paying attention? The challenges of isolation. Chosen one, I need to be honest with you. The path of spiritual isolation is not easy. In fact, it can be challenging in ways you may never have imagined. Isolation has the power to take you to places within yourself that you have avoided for so long. Sometimes the silence becomes deafening and the loneliness heavy. You may feel disconnected, as if the whole world is moving on without you, and this can bring a deep sense of loss. There may be days when you wonder, am I on the right path? Or even, does this all make sense? This doubt, this feeling of disconnection, is one of the biggest challenges of isolation. There are times when it feels like you are walking in circles, aimlessly, lost in a forest of uncertainty. The path, which once seemed clear, is now shrouded in mist, and you begin to question whether you are truly following your soul's calling, or whether you have simply lost your way. But let me remind you of something essential. These moments of doubt are normal. They are part of the process. In fact, they are necessary. Chosen one, has it ever happened that you were so alone that you began to doubt everything? This is a common experience on the spiritual path, especially during isolation. It feels like you are walking through a desert with no clear direction, no visible signs of progress. But it's exactly in these moments, when loneliness feels overwhelming and doubts roll in like storms, that the greatest growth happens. Loneliness may seem like darkness, but in reality, it is where the brightest light is about to be born. Now, I know that when you're in the middle of this process, when the pain of disconnection is at its most acute, it's hard to remember that. It's hard to feel any comfort when it feels like the universe has gone silent. But remember, chosen one, the universe never abandons you. Even in the most difficult moments, when it seems like no one is by your side, when the answers seem far away and the spiritual path is full of uncertainty, the universe is guiding you. He is working silently, laying the groundwork for the next step in your journey. This loneliness you feel now is temporary. Think of it as the winter before spring. During winter, the land appears barren, the trees are leafless, and the landscape is cold and harsh. But beneath the surface, something incredible is happening. The roots are strengthening, the earth is preparing to bloom, and soon spring will arrive. Everything that was dormant will be reborn with renewed strength. Likewise, this isolation phase is preparing you for a profound transformation. Chosen one, think for a moment. How have you been dealing with these internal challenges during your isolation? It's easy, in these moments of loneliness, to fall into the trap of believing that you are alone, that no one can understand what you are going through. But remember, every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. What you are facing now, no matter how difficult it may seem, is what will allow you to grow. The pain of loneliness is fertile soil for spiritual awakening. When you can face these challenges head-on, without running away or trying to avoid discomfort, you begin to access a new level of understanding about yourself and the universe. Have you ever noticed that it is in the midst of chaos that the greatest spiritual lessons emerge? That it is in crisis that we discover how strong we really are? Spiritual isolation is one of these crises. It brings to the surface your deepest fears, your doubts, your insecurities. And that's why he's so powerful. Because by facing all of this, you are healing yourself from the inside out. You are freeing yourself from the invisible ties that held you back. Sometimes what seems like loneliness is actually an invitation from the universe for you to come even closer to your higher self. In those moments when it seems like there is no one else around you, that's when you are closest to finding yourself. Chosen, isolation is a powerful tool that the universe uses to transform us. But it is important to understand that it is not a punishment, nor a mistake. It is part of your awakening process. Now, I want you to think, how have you been dealing with these internal challenges during your isolation? Have you been looking outside yourself for answers, waiting for the world to give you answers that can only be found within? Or have you been taking advantage of this silence to reconnect with the divine that lives within you? The challenges of isolation are like spiritual tests. They force us to look at the parts of ourselves we prefer to ignore. But in doing so, we give ourselves the chance to heal, to transform, to grow. Each challenge that arises is a mirror showing what still needs to be worked on within us. When you feel lost, when doubts arise, it is the universe giving you the opportunity to strengthen your faith. It's the call to trust the process, even when we can't see the next step. Chosen, allow yourself to feel the pain that isolation brings. Because it is in this discomfort that true transformation happens. What appears to be a time of stagnation is, in fact, a period of preparation. You are being molded, like clay in the hands of a potter, into something greater. Trust this process. Trust that the universe knows exactly what you need, even if it seems difficult to understand right now. Now, more than ever, is the time to look within and ask, what is the universe trying to teach me through this isolation? This pain you feel, this emptiness, is the preparation for something greater. It's the cold that precedes spring. And when that spring arrives, when isolation finally gives way to a new phase, you will realize that all of this was necessary. Every challenge, every doubt, every moment of solitude was preparing you for a new journey, more enlightened, more connected with the divine. The invisible community of the chosen. Chosen one, you are never truly alone. Even in moments when isolation seems unbearable, when the silence around you becomes overwhelming, you are part of something bigger. It may feel like you are physically distant from everyone, disconnected from the world and without a visible support network, but there is something much deeper at play. You are part of an invisible spiritual community, a community of chosen ones who, like you, are walking similar paths. You may not see these people, you may not hear their voices directly, but they are there. They feel the same calling as you. They share the same challenges, the same doubts, and most importantly, they share the same divine mission. You are part of an invisible network of souls that are coming together, not through physical ties, but through a much more powerful and lasting spiritual connection. This connection transcends time and space, and no matter where you are never truly alone. Chosen, have you ever stopped to think about how many other people, right now, are going through the same process as you? How many other chosen ones in different parts of the world are also on their journeys of isolation, facing their own challenges and seeking the same answers? You are connected by the same energy, guided by the same divine purpose. And even though your stories are unique, your paths all end up intertwining on a spiritual level. Now, allow me to ask you, can you feel that connection? Even if you can't see it, it's there. It exists. This feeling of physical isolation can make you feel lonely, but in reality, you are part of something much bigger. Imagine that, somewhere right now, there is another person, a chosen other, perhaps on the other side of the world, going through the same doubts, feeling the same weight of isolation, but also seeking the same light that you are seeking. And just like you, this person is being guided. Chosen one, there is a greater purpose uniting you all. The chosen community is invisible, yes, but it is very real. You are soul brothers, connected in a way that transcends the limitations of the material world. Each of you is walking your own path, facing your own challenges, but you are all being guided by the same divine force. When you feel like you are alone, remember, this community is with you. Even if you can't see or touch it, this network of souls is vibrating with you. Have you ever had the feeling that, at certain moments, an invisible force is supporting you? As if suddenly, in the middle of a difficult moment, a wave of calm or understanding came out of nowhere. This is the spiritual community acting. When you tune into this network of souls, you become stronger. And the most incredible thing is that as you grow spiritually, you also strengthen the other chosen ones. Every step you take on your journey resonates with this invisible spiritual web and helps raise everyone's consciousness. Now, I want you to imagine something. Close your eyes and visualize a light. This light begins in your heart and little by little, expands. As it expands, it connects to other lights, to other souls who, like you, are going through their own awakening processes. You may be separated by vast distances, but these lights are all linked by an invisible thread. This is the community of the chosen. It's like a large constellation of souls, all shining, all connected by a greater purpose. You are part of this constellation. And each star in this constellation has its own unique shine. Each soul is going through its own journey, but they are all heading in the same direction, in search of the same truth, the same spiritual awakening. And what makes this connection even more powerful is that it is not limited by time or space. You are connected in a dimension that goes beyond what the eyes can see or what words can express. Chosen one, in moments of doubt, when you feel truly alone, remember this: you are never alone. There are other chosen ones, many of them spread across the world, each in their own process, each facing their own challenges and discovering their own truth. You are an invisible community, a network of souls that are being guided by the same force, the same light. Even if you don't know each other, you understand each other on a deep level, in a place where words are unnecessary. And this spiritual connection is one of the greatest gifts you can receive during this time of isolation. When you feel helpless, when doubts begin to weigh you down, close your eyes and connect to this network of souls. Feel her strength. Feel the support, understanding, and energy flowing between you. Even if there is no physical interaction, the spiritual energy you share is real and it is powerful. Chosen, you are never isolated in the truest sense of the word. The physical isolation you experience now is just part of the process, but spiritually, you are surrounded by a great network of souls, all vibrating at the same frequency, all moving towards the same light. And each of you, by taking another step on your journey, strengthens this invisible community. Now I want you to think about this. How many times have you felt an invisible force by your side, even in the most difficult moments? This force is the spiritual community that is connected to you. She is with you now, she is with you always. Comment below, chosen one, if you have ever felt this invisible connection, this inexplicable force that sustains you. By sharing, you will be strengthening this network, reminding other chosen ones that they are also part of this constellation of awakening souls, just like you. You are never truly alone. Faith in the plan of the universe. This is the time to trust. When everything seems uncertain, when doubts arise, remember that the universe has a plan for you. Nothing happens by chance. Every moment of isolation, every challenge, every synchronicity, it's all part of the great mosaic of your life. Have you trusted the plan of the universe even in the most difficult times? This trust is fundamental to your spiritual growth. It keeps you steady when the winds of doubt start to blow. When you trust the divine plan, something incredible happens. You find peace even in the midst of the storm. Chosen one, if you feel that this path of isolation is a burden, know that it is a blessing in disguise. The universe is preparing you for something bigger, something you can't yet see, but which will soon reveal itself. Chosen, this is the time to act. Comment now, I trust in the divine plan and accept my path. By doing this, you will be affirming your faith and trust in the spiritual process. And remember, subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone special, someone who, like you, is going through a moment of transformation. Each video here is made to guide you on your spiritual journey, revealing hidden truths and teaching you how to listen to the whispers of the universe.